Here with Glen Jennings. Some huge news for you in the last couple of days. Can you fill us in on what's been happening?
Yeah, look, it's part of life, I guess. Decisions have been made to make some restructuring changes, and the consequence of that is our former team that was with Tim has been removed. 5 of us in total, and so that's the end of an era. I guess at the end of it for me, if this is what Tim needs to do to get back in the winner's circle, and then he should go and do it. And I'm not going to be the guy, and nor are any of the others going to be the guys that try and put up a roadblock for that. It's 2025. It feels like it's a disposable society, and we see this every day in the NRL and everything else. But so yeah, it's sad that there's a chapter closing, but it's also sometimes it's just inevitable and it happens, and that's that.
How'd you find out?
We had a chat over the phone, and I just said to Tim, "You need to think long and hard about this." And look, he was very appreciative of everything that we'd done, but in his mind, it's something that he needs to do. And as I said, you just got to go with that. You can't put up a roadblock for that. Let him go do his thing, and if that's what he needs to do, so be it.
What was the reason that he gave?
The reason was, if you can call it a reason, it was more about him. He just needs to do this for himself. I don't know. There was no discussion about any specific reason. In fact, it was mostly complimentary about what we'd achieved. But for him to move on, this is what he wants to do. So that's, he's a grown man. He can make those decisions. And as for the team, I can't be prouder of the achievements and what we achieved with Tim. From a young fella that just wanted to win an Australian title, we got to the world title level, and he's financially secure and all those things. So I'm very proud of what we've achieved as a team, and I'm sure there's going to be the knockers who still say that the team's hopeless and clowns and all of that. It has no effect on us. At the end of the day, Tim made the decision, and he's going to move on and do his thing, and that's that.
Has Nikita spoken to you about what's happening there?
Yeah, Nikita was disappointed as well. I guess at the end of it, it's not something that happens all that often, especially after 8 years. So there is a disappointment there, but there's also a realisation that when I don't want to be that manager that is no longer required or no longer part of it. I would rather this and clear it and let him move on than operate in an environment that's not working.
Do you agree it's good for him, or is it listening to outside noise?
That will be for others to decide. That will be based on what happens for Tim from here. He's still got to go and do it. The decision part can be done, but you still got to then go and do it. And we won't be there. And so he now goes out and creates his own path, and we move on with the rest of our fighters and keep on going.
Is there any sort of moment looking back that you regret, or any decision you regret, or that you think could have contributed to this decision?
Look, there's plenty of experts that are all saying they've got their all opinions, but a manager's job is to ultimately get your fighter to a level through putting him into the fights. And look, when everything's going great, you're the best manager in the world. And as soon as you take a loss, especially in Australia, you then can't do anything right. I don't have any regrets in that. The fights that Tim went into against the elites of the world, he never got the result. But that doesn't change the fact that he did it and we got him there. And so no, I don't. From my side, the manager's side, I don't have a lot to do what happens inside the ring, apart from getting the deals done. When you talk about Igor and coaching and all that, that's questions for them guys, not for me.
How is Igor? Does he take it?
Oh, look, he's like everyone, a little bit sort of wow. But I really think you have to take that opportunity up with those guys and talk to them, because it's a personal thing.
Has Costume made comment?
I spoke to Cos this week prior to this coming out last night, but it was mainly about Ricky Hatton. So I haven't had a chance to have a chat about that. But look, to be honest, once that decision's made, even for me, you move on. And that's a close of a chapter. And I've got so much to look forward to, and I've got so many other things in my life. So life will go on. Tim will go on, and so will I, and so will the other members of the team who will still be with me on other fighters. So it's not a huge change in terms of that, but just not being there representing Tim, and that's life.
Has Nikita said that it's nothing changes with Nikita?
Yeah, no, nothing changes with Nikita. He's here now. He's very much in support of our team, and those 5 guys will continue on with Nikita. And they all have roles within some of the other fighters as well. So this is purely Tim's choice and his decision, and that's time for him to go on with it.
Who are the 5?
There's myself and Igor, Mark Gambin, Dave Barker and Dr. Bill.
How do you respond to some of the critics, especially in Australia, after the second Fundora fight? There have been some high names, Fennick and others.
Oh yeah, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. We live in a free society, and I don't ever have a problem with that. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to sort of crease me on that stuff, because social media is nothing more than an opinion-based opportunity to say what you like and just move on. But what's said today is tomorrow's fish and chip paper, and so I just continue on with the positive side of what I've got, and that's how I look at it. I don't want to be in that negative space. I don't like being around negative people and all of that stuff. Look, you can only do your best. We're all humans. We're not robots. Yeah, we make mistakes. That's life. We do the best we can do. If it's not good enough for an athlete and they want to go somewhere else, so be it. Go and do it. That's okay. It's just the way it is.
There's rumours you'll fight before the end of the year. Will you go to that fight if it was in Australia?
I have no clue what he's doing in terms of that, and in terms of going to one of his fights, haven't even thought about it. Got too many other fighters now that I need to focus on.
Did this break any sort of contract, or was it all just sort of handshakes?
No, look, Tim and I have had contracts in the past, but look, the reality is in this sport, there's no ownership. You don't own anybody. You look at the world we live in now, the NRL, those guys change managers, coaches, clubs on a daily basis. So you got to be real about it. And why would you want to put up a roadblock in front of somebody that has a limited window of opportunity? Let them go. As I said before, it's more important to me to say that. It's better to let something go than to try and hang on to something that's not making all parties happy. And that's a mature way of looking at it. And I'm just moving on, and Tim will move on, and we keep on doing what we do.
What's your understanding? Does he stay with No Limits? What's the promotional sort of?
You'd have to talk to No Limits about that. It's not really for me, but I'm assuming that. No, I'm not going to assume anything. You can ask the boys on that. I don't know, mate. I don't know what his plans are, and I don't know any. I've got no information for you. That's for Tim now. So, by all means, have that chat with Tim when the opportunity comes. But you're not going to get me having too much negative to say about anything, to be honest, because 8 years is a long time, and these things happen, and you just got to be mature enough to say, okay, go and do what you need to do.
Was it a surprise? Like, did it all happen this week, or was it?
It wasn't a shock as such. There's been really since Fundora won, as you all know, there was a lot of pressure built on the back of that, and there's been a little bit of an undertow since then, and it's been a little bit more difficult to manage. But look, once again, it reaches a point where it's the athlete. If the athlete's not happy, and the athlete doesn't feel he's getting what he needs from a group of people and needs to go elsewhere to explore that, go and do it. Just go and do it and give it your best shot.
What sort of pressure does this put on Nikita and the team for his next fight? Because you'd want to win.
Oh, look, Nikita's a different kettle of fish. He'll come here tonight. He'll enjoy himself tonight. There's great fights ahead for Nikita, great opportunities. There's a lot to talk about for Nikita, but tonight's not the night. And I want to just be honest in saying to you, little bit of disappointment that we're talking about this on a night when the two Liams, two of our greatest young guns, are up on the stage, and that's really where the attention should lie. But I understand it's a bit of a story at the moment, and after this, I'll just draw the line and let you guys go off and do your thing. But just remember, the great no limits card tonight, and everyone should be focused on that.
Who determined the timing of it all? Like in
No.
terms of how it's all come out?
No one. That was just him.
Were you blindsided by that?
Yeah, in a little way, but it's not something that's ever going to be scripted. You know, he's going to, if he makes that decision, and it's probably a hard decision for him to make as well, but he made it and he's delivered it, and we've accepted it and we move on.
What's your favourite memory of your time with Tszyu?
Probably racing around in LA in Corvettes. You know, I love the Corvettes. Look, there's a lot, and I'm sure over time that will all be more clear as you know how it goes. But for now, it's about Tim doing what he needs to do, and me doing what I need to do, and my team. I'll look after those guys, and we'll make sure we keep doing what we need to do. They're hurt; they'll be disappointed that it's over, but it's life.
Is there anything you'll do differently with the key now, given everything that's happened?
Oh, look, it's hard when you're a manager and you commit to something. It's a long-term commitment, and you've got to give it your best. And this shows that even sometimes your best isn't enough, and that's okay. I'm not saying I'm the best manager. I'm not saying I'm a great manager. I'm just saying I do my best. And the achievements that we got for Tim and the position that he's in today is pretty outstanding. But I'm not going to dwell on that, because now he has an opportunity to go and do what he wants. That's fine. And the other boys, bringing them through, I've got a little bit more time now to focus on them. But look, I hope that all the boys coming through have great careers, and I hope I can be part of helping them through. But if the time comes for someone else to do this, it'll be the same answer from me. I'm only going to be here for X amount of years, and then you move on anyway. So there's plenty that'll put their hand up and say they can do it better. Then come and do it. Give it a crack and see how you go. It's not an easy role to fulfil, and you're dealing with people's lives and livelihoods, and you've got to be fair about that. And if it's time, it's time.
Spot on the roster now for Zarafa in the team or not?
I just spoke to Michael. I'm not going to tell you what he said, because that's a little funny sideline there.
We'd love to hear it.
No. Look, Michael's Michael, and that rivalry goes on and will go on forever. But as for Tim and Michael, that's not for me. That's for Tim.
You're still managing. Could you ever see a day where you're managing against Tim down the line?
Against him?
If you've got a fighter that's on the rise? Or...
Oh, geez, I never even thought of that. That's left field. That's left field. Yeah, look, I guess nothing's out of the question, but I don't want to think that. I'm just at a point now in my life. I'm not getting any younger. I'm enjoying what I do. I've got great mates that help me, and I'm disappointed for those guys. The Dr. Bills of the world that are just the most generous people, and to sort of get moved aside, it's not always easy, but it is what it is. So let's just focus on positives, and these boys tonight. I'm really looking forward to Liam Wilson, who's with me, and Sunny Knight, and so yeah, I'm excited for that.